All right, class, today we're going to be working on our shape to form fold-ups. This is a fairly complex project, but very simple once you understand what's going on. So the very first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to assemble your materials. Once again, as always, you're going to want your craft knife and your scissors. So make sure that you've got your craft knife and your scissors. You're also going to need the hot glue gun for this project, so make sure that you have access to your hot glue gun, which is in the back of the room. You're also going to want to make sure you have a little bit of thin cardboard. This doesn't have the corrugation in it. You'll need some of that to make our L braces for our finishing touches. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is cut out all of the shape nets on the back of the worksheet. So go ahead and cut all of those out with your scissors and then trace them onto a sheet of cardboard. So once you've got them all cut out, go ahead and trace around them with your Sharpie or your pencil, making sure to make note of any of the spots where you'll need to make a straight line, so that you can go across where we're going to need to cut it out as well. So make sure that you've got those lines marked. Once you've got that done, you should have something that looks like this that you'll want to then cut out with your craft knife. So starting, we're going to come in here and cut out all of our lines, making sure to stay safe and keep our fingers protected. We're cutting through all of the solid black lines first. So come through here and cut all of our solid black lines, making sure to try and cut as straight as possible, because it is very important with this to keep our lines straight. If you can't get your fingers into our tunnel, make sure to just keep them as far away as possible when you are doing your cut. 2 times is always good for the pass, and then come around our next area. Slow and steady is going to be the best bet for this, because you really want to make sure that all of your lines stay straight and even, otherwise your fold up will not work very well. So come through all of there, make sure on all of your solid lines we're cutting through. I'm going nice and slow and steady to make sure that I stay on my lines. Oh, didn't quite cut through our last. Not so good. There we go. All right. Once you have your shape cut out of the cardboard, the next step is to lightly cut the dotted lines. You are not trying to cut through the entire piece. You are just trying to cut it lightly so that you can then fold it. So lightly cut through. Make sure you are lightly cutting. I'm not pressing down nearly as hard as I was before. I do not want to cut through the dotted lines. If something like this happens where it's not quite there, you can always rip it to finish it off, or just bend it and it should fold. But once again, I am cutting very lightly. I do not want to cut through my dotted lines, because then I'll have to start all over for here. All right, now comes the easy part. It's the fold up. So coming through, and you fold all of these pieces up. You can already start to see that it makes a box. Nice and easy. Now the next step is actually closing this box and making it so that it is a nice, clean, consistent image. To do that, we're actually going to be using some L braces. So to create an L brace, you're going to take your thin cardboard. You're going to cut a small piece of it off, and then you're going to even make a smaller piece as well. Now, this is very, very tiny, but our box is pretty small, so it's going to be a good size. What we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half, and with our hot glue gun, we're going to put a dot of hot glue on there. So just a tiny little bit of hot glue. right, and then I'm going to attach it to my first side. Right. Next, I'm going to take my hot glue gun and add a little piece there and then fold it up and connect it. Little dot of hot glue, put my hot glue gun back. All right, now I'm gonna repeat that 1, 2, 3, 4 more times. So I'm gonna come and cut a few more of these, fold them in half, little dot of hot glue, and place it on the inside of my cube. The hot glue gun is, as you might guess, quite hot, so be careful. Make sure to not touch the metal tip. You do not need much hot glue. It is a very tiny dot on these braces to get them to stick. Now for this last one, we'll really only probably need one. And I'm gonna go ahead and attach, well, I guess you could use 2. It's up to you to how many you think you're gonna need. It'll probably stay with 1, but I'm gonna do 2 just to show you how it will work with 2. So once again, I am folding these in half, adding just a tiny little bit of hot glue to the edge. And then sticking them on the inside of my box. All right, now the last little spot, careful of the hot glue strings. I'm gonna take and put 2 little dots right in here, 1 and 2. And then I'm gonna fold it up. And my box is almost complete. Now the last one, we're not gonna be able to do an L brace unless we want to do an L brace on the outside, which you certainly can, but I kind of like to go for the cleaner look and just set it so that it's closed. This also lets me be able to open it, which I think is kind of cool. I'm gonna have a open box if I wanted to, little chest if you prefer. So I'm gonna keep it just like that, press it in just a little bit so it'll stay, and then you have your cube. That's how you make your 3D fold-up cube. Now you're going to be making 4 of these. You'll also have a triangular pyramid, you'll have a rectangular prism, and a triangular prism. So we're going to start with our triangular pyramid next. Once again, go ahead and trace it on the outside, cut out the solid black lines, and then you're going to lightly cut your dotted lines. So lightly cut them, so that way you're not cutting through. If you accidentally cut through your cardboard, you're going to have to redo your tracing, which is never fun, and cutting out for your first step. So now I'm going to fold these up, just like before, folding them upward, and you can see how I already have a sweet little pyramid. All right. This one, the L braces still work, so I'm going to continue to use them. Start with my thin cardboard, fold it in half, little piece of glue, attach, and then I'll attach my other side. It's not a perfect fit since it's on an angle, unlike our cube, which was straight, but it still will work fine. So using our L brace on the inside, you can see that working in there. Hold it for a few seconds. And then it will dry. Now for the pyramid, since once again we're already on the outside, what you can do to make your finished edge, if you don't want to leave it open by just pressing it in, is take a thin bit of glue, run it along your edges here, along both of those edges of your pyramid. And then very carefully, remember this is hot glue we're using, come and press it and press everything together with your fingers. You're gonna need to hold this for probably about 30 seconds to a minute before it dries completely. So just be patient, hold it. You can blow on it if you want. That'll cool it down a little bit faster, but just hold it, be patient. Don't mess with it until the glue is completely dry. Do not touch the glue until it is completely dry. It is hot glue, and if you touch it before it's ready, it will burn you, so be careful. Looks to be about right. Oh, see, that's what happens when you touch it and it's not quite dry. So be careful about that. It wasn't hot, but it was still sticky, so be careful. All right, I'm gonna set this one to the side, and that's our triangular pyramid. Now next we have our triangular prism. Same deal, trace it around, cut out your solid lines, and then cut your thin lines, your dotted lines, lightly. Do not cut all the way through, or you'll have to restart, and that's no fun at all. Now this one's kind of a challenge because it is using both triangles and rectangles. So we're gonna come in here, I'm gonna fold it up, and then we're gonna fold in. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna let you guys use your own creativity and figure out how you want to attach it. You could use the L braces. You can come back with just the hot glue. Do what you think is best to create your shape. But you can already see how this makes a very nice triangular prism. Now our last one that we're gonna be doing is a rectangular prism. This one is really, really good for doing any kind of houses or any kind of small structures like our cube was. It's another way that you can do your cube-ish shapes without having to cut each of the individual sections out. It works really, really well for houses as well. So once again, it'll fold up. These will fold over, and it will fold into that nice shape. And we have our nice rectangular prism. See how you could use that as a nice little house. You could put a roof on there. You could even put the triangular prism, triangular pyramid that we made earlier and make your own little tower. It's up to you how you use these in future projects, but it's very important to know how to use your nets and how to create those 3D shapes from our flat objects. So it's very important that you learn how to make your cube, triangular pyramid, your rectangular prism, and your triangular prism. All right, that's all for this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.